Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm going to keep my ugly mug out of the camera for this video. What this video was supposed to be was a show and tell on maybe one or a couple of my new MTH SD70ACe's. I don't want to do a full review on them because there's already a lot of them out there and it's not exactly a new locomotive. But this has turned into a I don't know, a problem and solving video. I'm going to show you my problem that I'm having with these, and then I'm going to take you through the steps that I did to fix the problem. And now this issue doesn't seem to be like a real common issue, but upon searching on Google, I did find one post in a forum about an individual was having the exact same problem I'm having, and you know, maybe just not too many people have spoke up about it, but you know, I'm going to show you what I did to fix the problem, just in case there is someone out there experiencing the same thing that I am. But anyways, what I found is this locomotive sits really low. The body sits really low on it compared to all my other brands. And what happens is any slight difference in grade, or you know, change in your track height or whatever, or a slight dip or anything, the problem is this thing is the body or the plow and the rear of it is actually catching on the track. It's rubbing the track, and if you have a rail joiner there or a joined rail section there, sometimes it even hangs up on it. And I will show you that and demonstrate that to you right now. And then, like I said, I will take you through the steps of how I fixed one of these. I already fixed one of them. I have 3 of them in my possession right now. They all experienced the same problem. One's worse than the other one. They're all a little bit different, you know, and some are. This one's the worst one. Yeah, and then I have one it's not quite as bad, but it still does it. And then there's one that's in the middle of the road. So all 3 of these exhibit the same issue, or share the same issue, or you know, whatever you want to. Not very good with words, I guess. But anyways, let me. I'm gonna zoom in here best I can. Now, you see this, let me back up quick. There, evidently I have a slight dip in here where the lift up section comes together there. You know, I don't know how well it don't show up really to the naked eye. It looks like, looking at the video, it looks like you can see a little bit of it, but it's not that much of a hump or a dip, whatever you want to call it. It's not that much of a grade difference. And for some reason this is the only manufacturer's engine that does it to me. All the other ones are fine. This thing just, if you compare them, it sits way low. So I'm going to show you what happens here when we approach this dip. The plow was already rubbing on the rail for about 1.5 inches or so before it hit that joiner, and of course it hangs up. Now, none of my other locomotives do this except my MTH's. I'm going to switch this around and show you. The back might go over it, but it's still hanging up on it. It clips it. Now it's I mean, just to show you, it's not just a plow issue. I don't know how well it's going to show up here, but the rear of the locomotive actually drags and catches on the track too, believe it or not. See? I'm sorry, but I may not be perfect with my track work, but it's nowhere near bad enough that it should cause that. That's something with the locomotive. That's not my track work. So that's the issue I'm having. Now let me take you through the steps of what I did to fix this problem. So hang on. Alright guys, I'm going to attempt to do this in my work area upstairs. I know the lighting's not as bright as it is at my layout room, but hopefully it shows up all right. First thing you want to do, take the plow off if you have it on, and then we have to remove the shell. Now, I was new to MTH and how to remove the shell, and I found a video on how to do that, and lo and behold, it's one of my subscribers. I'm not going to attempt to say his name. Well, maybe I will, but I'll probably booger it up. But Rarawer, Matthew. I will flash his YouTube channel name up, and I will provide the link to his video either down below in the description or in the video. But he did a nice little video tutorial on how to remove the shell on a MTH SD70ACe. So, you know, check that out for sure. I have him to thank for that. But I will go ahead and try to do this on camera for you. What we need to do is just remove the hand railings across the top here and pull out the hand railing that slides into the end of the cab here. You're going to want to do that on both sides. This side has 3 stanchions, the other side has 4 stanchions, and you also need to remove the handrail that mounts on the front of the cab on either side. Just be careful with them. They are metal, but you know, of course you want to be careful anyways. Try not to scratch your paint up. That's why I'm using anything I can that isn't metal. And these, you can actually, sorry to get my big hands in the way, but you can actually just use your hands. What I do is I pulled that out away from the cab, and then you can just pull these stanchions straight up from the walkway. And some of them might come loose from the railing. They will fall off occasionally, but that's okay. They'll get right back on. One nice thing, these metal handrails are quite durable actually. So we got that side done already. Now that they're undone or unclipped, now we turn it upside down to do the rest. So hold on a second, I will get this set up for you. Alright, now we have that upside down. Next thing we need to do is pop the bottom cover off the truck, and they pop off from the outside in on either side. The outside, the end of the locomotive in. Just stick something like a little flat blade screwdriver and pop straight up. They'll come right off. Not real hard. Then take your flat blade screwdriver and you don't even really need a screwdriver, you can use your hand, but you want to pull the side frames away from the truck, and what that will do is loosen up your wheel sets. You don't have to take them all off, just pull them out. And for the rear truck, I find that all you need to do is remove the middle wheel set, and do the same thing up front. Just push the side frames out a little bit, and on the front truck I find all you really need to do is remove the rearmost wheel set. And what that does is give you access to, there's 4 clips, one on each side, front and back, that we need to mess with. Okay, if you can see, right there is a clip, and sorry, right there is a clip on either side. And what you need to do, take a flat blade screwdriver or something and pry outwards away from the locomotive to unclip them. This one's pretty much already out. And then when you have them pried out, take a handy dandy toothpick here. Come on, focus. And wedge them down in there, one on each side. That holds the clips. Unlocked. I can't do this and hold the camera at the same time, so give me a second. Okay, now I have all four of my toothpicks wedged in there to hold them clips open. I'm going to try to attempt to do this and not get in the way. Pick the Locomotive straight up. Grasp and wiggle the shell. And it should start coming loose. Just like that. Take your time, be careful. I'll make sure everything's free and nothing's hung up. For some reason the backs don't like to come off as easy. Whatever you do, keep your locomotive upside down. Alright, the shell is off. If your toothpicks haven't fallen out, you can remove those. Now sit your locomotive back down, upside down, and put your wheel sets back in. Close your side frames, you'll see how it's done, and put your clips back on the bottom. Alright, one thing I should have mentioned before I started this, these are KD washers, 208s and 209s. The 208s are 15 thousandths thickness. The 209s, I'm sorry, are 10 thousandths thickness. Need a pack of these, one of each. We will be using them in this step. Now, first we'll do the front truck, and of course they're held on with basically the normal clips that most trucks are held on with. So however you feel comfortable removing that clip, you have to get in there and pry at it. There's unfortunately not much room in these locomotives. I got the one side unclipped. I'm going to take a pair. Okay, see, there's the clip. Pop that off. Now before we go any further, we back up now. Be careful, hold the truck in. There's no reason to lose anything. Now lay it on its side on your foam cradle or whatever you're using. Let me move you a little bit here. Now keep the truck in there so you don't lose your worm gear or anything, because you don't really need to mess with that. Alright, I'm going to try to show you. With these MTHs, they have a pin right there. A centering pin or whatever you want to call it that the truck fits on. And if you can see that pin right down in here, that's where we're going to put our washers. Now I already did one, so I know what it took me to fix this problem, so that's what I'm going to do this time, and hopefully it remedies it. What I used was a total of 40 thousandths of washers. So I used two red ones, which are the 15 thousandths each, and one of the gray ones, which is 10 thousandths. So You basically want to put your washers on that that stem or peg or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to have to put the camera down to do it, but I will show you the finished product. Okay, if you can see that, I have 2 red washers and 1 gray one for a total of 40 thousandths of basically a shim. 40 thousandths shim. Now you just want to put your truck back up on that peg like so. Hold it up together, turn your locomotive back over, and put the clip on. Alright, hold your truck up in there. Turn the locomotive back over and sit it down. Now, all you have to do is put your clip back on. There are a lot of wires, so watch that you do not get any of them pinched in there or in the way of that clip. And snap it back on. And just like that, we have the front truck done and fixed. The back one's a little bit more tricky because we have this computer board back here. Now there are 3 plugs that we need to remove from this, from the rear board. There's a black plug, a purple plug, and a green plug. We need to remove those. So go ahead and remove the plugs. Just unplug them. They're color coded, so you'll know right where to put them back. Remove those plugs. And then there's 2 screws down on one on either side of this computer board or whatever you want to call it. Go ahead and remove those. Lickety split, just like that. Unfortunately, this is a step we need to do to reach the rear truck. Now, move these wires out of the way with the plugs on them. Just push that back out of the way a little bit so we can access this rear clip down here. This one's a little bit more tricky because there is not much room there, but you remove the clip the same way that you remove the front one. Actually, if you want, before you put the shell on, you can actually take it to your layout and put the plow on the front so you know for sure, but you can take it down like this and put it on your layout and make sure that the clearance is going to work all right. Alright guys, sorry there for a second. I actually took my own advice and I went down and double checked this, and as it turned out, I did need to add a little bit more shim to this one because this was the worst one. So I actually have a total of 50 thousandths in this now, and it seems like it's going to work all right. Also, you know, check your coupler height, make sure that's going to work okay too, because that's going to change. But so far it's worked fine for both of them. Nothing to fix with them. So next step, make sure your handrails and everything are out of the way so we can put the shell back on, and all we do is push it back down on, like I said, right there. Good thing I looked. Make sure your handrail's on the outside of your shell. Take your time. No reason to rush it. You'll only be mad at yourself if you break something. And for some reason, these things, the back is the hardest thing. I don't know why. The back just does not like to go on. It doesn't like to come off either, if you took notice to that. Make sure all the clips and everything clip down. And now we just put our handrails back on. Pretty much the opposite way you took them off. For the sake of the length of this video, I'm not going to go through that process. It's simply just the reverse of taking them off. But hang on, guys, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, guys, here we are back in the layout. Everything's buttoned back up. Handrails and everything are back on. And all's left to do now is double check our work. I'm going to zoom over here to the trouble spot, and we'll check this thing out. Looks good. Alright, in closing, I'd like to say MTH is not totally to blame for this. Upon further investigation, I do have quite a dip there. But my other locomotives don't cause me any problems. I double checked a lot of them, and they're not close to rubbing like that. So like I said, MTH isn't 100% to blame for this. Now, their locomotive was definitely riding way lower on the body than my other manufacturer's locos. But like I said, keep this in mind, because these things don't seem to like very steep grades or any type of track height change. But I don't know, maybe this will help some other people out that if they have this problem. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I saw one other person had this issue. So anyways, I hope it helped some people out, and thanks for watching, guys.